I had always trusted my wife, Claire. We had been married for 6 years, and in my mind, we had a solid, loving partnership. But something had shifted over the past few months. Subtle signs, late nights on her phone, sudden secrecy, and dismissive explanations whenever I asked about her day. At first, I tried to rationalize its stress at work, new responsibilities, maybe even exhaustion. But instinct told me something wasn't right, and eventually, I decided to confront the unease head-on. It started one evening when I noticed Claire's phone left unattended on the kitchen counter. My heart raced as I debated whether to touch it, feeling a mix of fear and determination. Something deep down told me that the answers I needed were on that small device. I unlocked it carefully, scrolling through messages, calls, and emails. What I found left me stunned. Claire had been hiding a series of secret communications with another man late-night texts, clandestine meetups, and emotional confessions. The betrayal was undeniable. I waited for her to come home, my mind spinning with anger, disbelief, and heartbreak. When she walked through the door, I confronted her immediately. "Claire, I saw your messages. I know about him," I said, my voice shaking but firm. Her reaction was immediate and defensive. "You're lying. You've gone through my phone. That's an invasion of privacy. I can't believe you would accuse me like this." She snapped. Her words were sharp, her eyes flashing with indignation. She painted me as the villain, turning the situation around as though I were the one committing the transgression. For a moment, I wavered, unsure if anyone would believe me if I tried to prove the truth. But I couldn't let her manipulation stand. I knew that exposure was the only way to reclaim the truth and protect myself from further deceit. The next day, I made a decision that would change everything. I contacted Claire's parents, people I had always respected and trusted. I explained the situation calmly, presenting the evidence from her phone without embellishment or anger. Texts, call logs, and timestamps formed a clear picture of the betrayal. I didn't exaggerate, I let the facts speak for themselves. When I met her parents, their initial reaction was disbelief, followed by shock. We didn't know she was capable of this," her mother murmured, eyes wide. Her father's face hardened, a mix of anger and disappointment evident. I remained composed, letting them absorb the truth before responding to their questions. Claire, upon learning that I had involved her parents, was furious. She accused me of betrayal, of humiliating her, and of destroying her reputation. "You went behind my back. How could you do this?" she yelled. Her anger was palpable, but I stayed calm. I had acted not out of malice, but out of necessity. Her attempts to gaslight me, to turn the narrative against me, had left me with no choice. Her parents, now fully aware of the situation, confronted her. The confrontation was intense. Claire tried to deny, to deflect, to spin her story, but the evidence was irrefutable. Messages, photos, and records told the truth her words could not. In that moment, I realized the power of transparency and courage. The truth, once exposed, becomes a force that cannot be suppressed. The fallout was immediate. Claire faced the consequences of her actions, strained relationships with her family, social scrutiny, and the end of the trust that had sustained our marriage. The betrayal she had attempted to hide was now public, undeniable, and irreversible. I filed for divorce, a painful but necessary step. The process was emotionally draining, but I was determined to preserve my dignity and integrity. Friends and family supported me, reinforcing the importance of boundaries, self-respect, and accountability. I refused to allow Claire's manipulations to dictate my life or tarnish my sense of self-worth. In the months that followed, I focused on healing and personal growth. Therapy helped me process the emotional trauma, while supportive friends and family reminded me of the values I had always held dear: honesty, integrity, and self-respect. I realized that betrayal, though deeply painful, can serve as a catalyst for clarity, empowerment, and stronger boundaries. Claire's attempts to gaslight me, to accuse me of lying, and to maintain control ultimately backfired. Exposure of the truth through her parents created accountability she could not escape. She faced the consequences of her actions in every sphere of her life, socially, emotionally, and personally. The betrayal, once hidden, now had tangible repercussions she could not manipulate away. Reflecting on the experience, I recognized several key lessons. First, trust, while fragile, must be protected through vigilance and assertive action when red flags appear. Second, manipulation and deceit cannot thrive when confronted with evidence and transparency. Finally, standing firm in the face of betrayal, even when it involves difficult decisions like exposing a spouse to family, is an act of self-preservation and empowerment. Over time, I rebuilt my life, relationships, and sense of security. The pain of betrayal gradually softened, replaced by clarity and strength. I entered future relationships with a renewed understanding of compatibility, boundaries, and the non-negotiable pillars of trust and honesty. Claire's story, in contrast, serves as a cautionary tale. Her attempts to deceive, gaslight, and manipulate had profound consequences. Loss of trust, familial respect, and personal credibility became inescapable outcomes. The betrayal she tried to conceal ultimately defined the trajectory of her life, illustrating the cost of dishonesty and the inevitability of accountability. In the end, exposing her affair was not an act of vengeance, it was an act of truth, clarity, and self-respect. I refused to allow manipulation to dictate my reality or compromise my integrity. By confronting the betrayal directly and involving her parents, I ensured that the truth prevailed and that I could reclaim control over my life and future. The story stands as a testament to the power of transparency, courage, and standing firm in the face of deceit. Betrayal tests the limits of trust and emotional resilience. But how one responds determines the outcome. By acting decisively, with evidence and clarity, I not only confronted the betrayal, but also reclaimed my dignity and agency. Ultimately, the experience reinforced a timeless truth. Honesty and accountability are non-negotiable in any relationship. Deception may be tempting, but it carries consequences that cannot be avoided. Standing firm, exposing the truth, and maintaining integrity transforms betrayal from a source of despair into a path toward empowerment, clarity, and personal growth.